Hello, and welcome to an all new episode of Pilot Season. I am one of your hosts, Kinte, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and I'm so happy to be here with you. And joining me is my great cast of characters, and we're going to start off with the ladies first. We have Tori. How you doing, Tori?
I'm great. I'm excited. Gilligan's Island is one of my favorite shows.
All right, all right, all right. And we also have the wonderful Renee. How you doing, Renee?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. And the fellas, we have Olaf. How you doing, Olaf?
I am doing fantastic. Can't wait to get into the episode about Gilligan because that's just an awesome show. I love it. So can't wait to get into it.
All right, Captain. And then, of course, last but definitely not least, the one and only Josh.
What's up?
All right. All right. So the show we're going to review today is Gilligan's Island. And just to give you a little background about Gilligan's Island, it premiered on CBS September 26, 1964. It was produced and created by Sherwood Schwartz. It had a wonderful cast of Bob Denver, Alan Hale Jr., Jim Backus, Tina Louise, Russell Johnson, and Don Wells. Uh, and The show was in, one thing we like to do is give you guys kind of a feel of what was going on in television when that show came out. And let's see, TV. I meant to have this ready, so forgive me. Comedies, 1964. So let's see what was out at the same time as this show began. Um, oh, give me a second. My crack staff. All right, so we had Bewitch was on at the same time. The Andy Griffin Show. We also had the Munsters, Beverly Hillbillies. These are shows that we're going to definitely go over. These are the comedies that were on the Jack Benny program. I know Josh loves that. My favorite Martian as well. So those are the shows that were on around that same time. Now Gilligan's Island, started out in black and white, but it eventually became it went to color. So this episode that we're going to be talking about was in color. I'm sorry, in black and white. All right, so let's start off with you, Josh. How aware were you of this series before you had to watch it for this show?
Uh, very. I mean, who my age doesn't know Gilligan's Island, one of the all-time classic short-run TV shows that I believe at one point, no matter where or no matter what time of day it was, somewhere in the world there was an episode of Gilligan's Island playing. I unfortunately that's because contracts screwed over the actors, but the point is, it was so widely syndicated that everybody, even close to, say, older millennials and older, have an intimate knowledge of Gilligan's Island. It was just a part of life.
That's right. All right, and would you consider yourself a fan?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was silly, goofy comedy that had really no bearing in the real world at all. Uh, so many shows, especially nowadays, try to root their comedy in sort of a realistic world, and I really miss the days where the live action comedies were just as cartoonish as the cartoons.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Um, let's go to you, Renee. How aware were you of the show, and did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I watch this all the time. Even Probably now, Nick at Night or whenever whatever it comes on now when it shows reruns, or I've looked at probably all the episodes, if not most of them, more than once. So yeah, it's one of my favorites, and I love the silly humor. So yeah, and I love that it gets right into the problems right away. So yeah.
Okay. And what about you, Tori? How
Oh,
you
well,
kind of gave it away, but go ahead.
I do like the show, but in a fan standpoint. So, like, Josh is telling us all the logistics of it, and going down to the brass knuckles, and I was just like, it's a good show. I've seen it. I like the black and white version better. I think it fit it. I don't know. I like black and white, but I think that it enhanced the humor a little bit more. But yeah, that's about all I know. I didn't watch it because I wanted to though. I watched it because that's what was on, but I still like it. I watched it just the other day for this show, and then I continued to watch it for like 2 days.
Oh, wow, that's cool. All right, last but not least, what about you, Olaf? How aware are you of the show, and would you consider yourself a fan?
No, what show is that?
Gilligan's Island.
Oh, that show. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like a huge fan. I started. That was like Saturday morning, and that's like if I got my homework done soon enough, I could go watch it and stuff. So yeah, I grew up watching Gilligan's Island. Love. It's like went from black and white to color. Big fan. Big fan of it. Always enjoyed it. Funny as all get out. Especially Gilligan.
Oh yeah, Gilligan is hilarious. All right, so let me ask you this question: how many people remembered the pilot at all? Anyone remembered the first episode, or was this kind of like seeing it for the first time, or felt like seeing it for the first time?
No, I think that's like I remember when I started playing or when I started watching. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
What about you, Josh? Did you remember seeing the pilot?
I'd like Olaf when I started watching it again. It was like, oh, that it's coming back to me, but it wasn't usually one of the episodes in great rotation.
Right.
That I don't know why pilots never really get that consideration when it comes to syndication. Maybe it's because it's like, oh, you just watched the 50th episode, now you're going to watch the first episode, so they don't have to, worry. That's it. Worry about what order they're playing the episodes in. It's one of those shows that doesn't matter where you jump in, as long as it's not the first one. But yeah, it came back to me as I was watching it for the show.
Yeah. One thing that I mean, I've seen this before, but it was almost like seeing it for the first time because I hadn't seen it in a long time. And like, that's a great thing that you said, Josh, about it. I don't think that episode is necessarily one that's in rotation quite a bit. So back, when I was watching it like religiously, I think I caught it. I don't think I may have seen it when I was younger watching it, but it might have been. I think I made a point to watch it years ago, and that's how I saw it. So I found it and saw it. So, but one thing that I thought that was pretty cool is, and we'll get deeper into it. First of all, the cast is awesome. Everybody brings their own thing to the show. From Gilligan, the skipper to the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, the professional, and the Marianne.
No,
Okay.
no, not yet.
What?
Remember, and the rest.
And the rest.
And the
Oh, right. That's funny.
Come on, get it right.
But no, but everybody, I think is, and we can go around. Let's get into the cast. Everybody on this show and has their own thing. I think that they bring to the table. I think they have their moments as the show went on, where we all like them. I think everybody's more than likely is pretty much likable. Let's kind of go around the room. We'll start off with you, Tori. Who's your favorite character on this show?
Marianne, I like her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's really pretty. I mean, I don't know. From the beginning, she was more relatable than the other one, I guess, to me. Her hair color.
Right. Right. And there was a and I like Marianne too the best too. Um, I like it's funny because you would think Ginger would be the one that everybody wanted, but if I remember there was like a poll, and more men preferred Marianne over Ginger, which was interesting because she was supposed to be the her superpower was her sexiness, right?
Yeah.
Ginger, she would always use it like like she was like that she was a superhero or something to that effect. you know, when they needed something to get done, she would be like, "All right, I'm gonna turn on the sexy," you know. But we always liked Ginger. So, what about you, Olaf? Who was your favorite character on the show?
Well, I had, more than one. Of course, it's like Marianne was one of them, but and the other one was Gilligan. Just between those two, it's like those were my favorites. So I actually had two.
Okay, and Josh, your
I
favorite?
was also a Mary Ann Gilligan.
Marianne Gilligan. Yeah, Marianne Gilligan and Renee.
I was Gilligan because Skipper gave him such a hard time all the time. I was like, give him a break. So I think he was always my favorite just because I wanted him to, I wanted him to win or whatever you say.
He was the underdog. Yeah.
Now, let me ask y'all a question about Gilligan, since it's his
Uh-huh.
island, right?
Mm.
We like Gilligan on the show, right? Funny
Yeah.
character. But if there really was a Gilligan on the island that you're stuck on, how long before you want to throw him in the ocean, though? Let's
Oh
just be
God.
honest.
Yeah.
I would probably be like Skipper after a while, even though
I
I was pulling for him, but still.
Yeah,
There,
I'd
there'd
be
be an
like
accident. No, I'm just kidding.
he'd have a lot of bumps on his head because I'd be smacking like Skipper
Yeah.
did with cats, like boom, 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 stop it, boom.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh? Would he grade on your nerves?
I think, yeah, yeah, it would kind of get irritating after a while. But keeping in mind, he would be doing all of the grunt work that I don't want to
Yeah.
do. So I think patience would be
A
something
virtue,
I would
yeah.
pick up
Hmm.
quickly
Hmm.
just
Well,
to
you could
keep
probably
my workload
find
lighter.
plenty for him to do though, since it's a big island.
Right. Now, one of the great characters on this show, who's a fantastic actor, is the millionaire, Mr. Howe, Jim Backus, who I'll throw it to Josh. What did Jim Backus? What else was he known for? Let's see.
Porn.
What's his favorite cartoon? His famous cartoon character, Josh. Let's see.
Oh,
oh God,
Mr. Magoo.
yeah.
Mr. Magoo. That's right.
Ah, okay.
Mr. Yeah, a lot
I
of
love Mr. Magoo.
yes. So he's probably more known for Mr. Magoo than even Gilligan's Island, I would think.
Hmm.
Or I mean, you could argue about the same. Um, and and he's a fantastic actor. Great. You know, I love how him and his wife. It's almost like they can't get out of their bubble,
Mm-hmm.
so they're like, they're worried about business deals and the Nasdaq. They're just like stuck on a deserted island, but they're still, like we're rich,
We're rich.
right? So and what I loved about their character too is it's a 3 hour tour, but they packed like they were gone for 3 months.
Yeah. That's true. I,
I always wondered about that with all the luggage that they had on that ship. It's like on the boat. Did anybody else get on the boat?
Mm,
Because that was a lot of
yeah.
luggage.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. We have something from the audience from Cher, who's hopefully she'll be on next week's show. We'll get her on. What was really eye opening was the documentary they did on Gilligan's Island. The Marianne actress was the host. You know what? I think I saw that like a long time ago, but I don't remember exactly the bits from it. That might be, maybe I should have watched it this week. It gave a little more insight into the show, but um, yeah, that'd be a good one. Um, okay, so one thing also staying with the, talking about the cast was the skipper and Gilligan. First of all, during the whole course of the show, the skipper and Gilligan had great chemistry, and it's really on display very early on the show. It was very evident. Like you got it right on the. They right off the bat had that great chemistry, and that's one thing I liked about watching the pilot again is you get to see that. Oh no, they weren't. They were together doing their thing pretty early. Also, the thing that I liked was it showed the dynamic that we would go on to love, very early on about how the characters kind of interacted with each other. We kind of got to see that. And so one thing that happened, I wish I had the clip, was they heard on the radio about their missing trip, and
Hmm.
they announced everybody's name and who they were. Like, I was like, man, these guys are good. These reporters are good. Like,
Yeah. They're
how do
really
they?
in depth.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. How the hell would they know all of that? Like, you know,
Minute details of
right? They were like, oh, and they were just there. They were just at a premiere the night before, and
And she
Right.
was still
She had
wearing the
her
same dress
outfit.
from her premiere.
it's like, I was like, wow, these guys are good. They deserve a lot of credit. So,
Ginger was a straight diva. She was.
Yeah.
She would be like Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian, if she was in today's world.
Now, yeah.
yeah. So let's talk about okay. They're stuck on a deserted island,
Mhm.
and they pretty much right away decide to try to get off the island, and they make a makeshift raft, and it doesn't go very well for the crew. Let's go to you, Josh. What do you like? What did you think about how they were trying to get off the island?
Well, I'm no maritime expert by any means, but I'm pretty sure the first thing you do when you get stranded on an island is don't try to leave the island.
Right,
Just in case anybody's looking for you. You're
Right.
kind of supposed to stay put for a little bit.
right,
And as far as them getting off the island, I think it worked. It worked well because they got off the island. And their destination might not have been exactly what they intended, but they went somewhere. Not
yeah,
somewhere else, but they went somewhere.
right. And you gotta love the sharks. The bit about with the sharks.
The sharks
Yeah.
had a really powerful bite. They really looked good. I was like, damn, man, that's a mean ass shark.
Uh, I mean, and they put that together pretty fast and with a lot of ingenuity. Like, I mean, it was a pretty good raft.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh,
He was professional.
That's not what the professor said.
yeah, but I mean, I ain't trying to fat shame uh, the skipper, but maybe they should have had somebody a little lighter on the raft. Like
Oh.
maybe Gilligan and the professor should have operated the raft. And I know he's a captain and or whatever. But maybe I think the professor probably would have been better. They could have probably gotten farther without
Yeah, but
big butt.
you got to consider though with the skipper, being the captain, but in other words, he's got the nautical knowledge to be able to navigate and stuff like that. And the professor, even though he's a smart feller, he might not be all that good at navigating the seas.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm putting up on the screen the skipper
He looks like he's about
and
to backhand.
and his big butt First of all, I didn't really help him at all.
Didn't do
Anyway,
anything.
and
No justice.
and so I don't know about that. I get it. If it was like a ship or something like that, then yeah, by all means. But
A
then
little
again,
laugh.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna, there's an 800-pound gorilla in the room, and I'll say,
Terrible thing to say about the skipper.
would you really want him to pilot anything after he fucking crash landed on the island in the first place?
Yeah, no.
Well, to be
Like,
fair, the
we
weather
go into
started getting rough.
Sandy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but aren't you supposed to know that kind of stuff? Right. Like, I mean, you know, I forgot if the skipper was fault for them. Yes, he was in. It was his fault.
It was his
Hold
fault.
hold on. The tiny ship was tossed. If
Yeah.
not for the courage of
Courage
the
of the
fearless
fearless
crew,
Yeah.
they'd all be dead.
They
You know
should
what?
have been. This should have. They had nobody had any
No
injuries.
business.
It went by smoothly. It's like, oh no,
Yeah. No
we're
bruises. Their
breaking
clothes
down.
were intact.
Yeah, they had
Okay.
extra socks.
An evening gown was perfect.
Okay, I gotta call him out again. So you're giving him credit because they didn't die, right?
Right.
Living counts
But
for
if
something.
but if
Yeah.
if he didn't mess up in the first place, they wouldn't have needed to be alive.
Now, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Considering what we found out about the crew,
hmm
do you really think it was the skipper's fault?
Oh, you said you're
Dun, dun, dun.
blaming Gilligan. Oh, you're blaming Gilligan. Right?
I'm just saying, if something went wrong, what are the
Who would you
odds that
blame
it's
first?
not Gilligan?
Yes.
Wait a minute. It's his fault for hiring that bozo. Okay.
Well, Lost is kind of Gilligan's Island if you think about it. Like, except that they really did crash and people did die. So
I think Alan Hale Jr. was the pilot of the Lost plane, but
yeah.
I know we all love the skipper, and I love him too. But it's kind of his fault. I wonder, was there a moment where they blamed him on the show? I would.
I think there was.
Yeah,
I think there actually was an episode where they
can't
were blaming
remember.
him.
they should have. Gilligan should have just put something on him and then just rode him out to the civilization.
Thurston Howell's like, I'm going to sue you, skipper.
I like how he
That
was
was awful.
willing to help until he couldn't go first class with his luggage.
Oh yeah, that's totally me though. That's totally me. I gotta have the first class. Okay, so let's get into. I'm trying to keep it just to the pilot, but it's so hard not to bring up stuff that goes forward. But all right, so let's talk about this plot line in the pilot about the. Oh wait, Janet says that at least I have Don Will's autograph. All right.
Ooh.
There you go.
All right. That's dope. All right. So right away, the professor realizes that there's a possible evil tribe on the island, the Maruvis, and which great work on his behalf. Because what did he say? He saw a documentary or something like that,
Yeah.
or whatever, and these Maruvis, they're gonna have to watch out for it. And so they find the cave, right? I'm trying to find that cave so I can show you guys. Put it on there. They make. Oh, wait. Before we get into this, wait. I got to show this part. This is so 1%er. He's barely on the island, and he's already figured out a way to
A
golf.
golf club.
That is just so funny. And check out Marianne in the booty shorts too, by the way. But oh yeah, I mean, look at wait. I wonder though, just as a side note, and we'll get back to the Maruvi. I wonder if Jim Backus and and I'm so sorry. What's her name? Natalie something. Who plays his wife, Mrs. Howe. I wonder
Schafer.
if, yeah, thank you. If they had a some sort of deal where, okay, if we're gonna do this show, we're gonna have to keep changing our clothes. So make up something because
To keep the wardrobe deal.
Mhm.
right, who goes on like a tour and brings basically a whole mess of luggage.
Your whole house.
The Howells, of
Oh
course.
no, that was just his. It's like Monday and Tuesday closet.
Ooh, excuse me. But okay, so yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. But uh,
Can I interject?
sure, go
Because
ahead.
you bring up wardrobe, right? And in this episode, it was made mention of before. You know what? I better do this. Better do this the right way. Let's go to camera two. Now, what had happened was they had mentioned in the news report that Ginger had come from a club gig. She was at a premiere. She was doing something and went straight to the boat.
Mhm.
And yet, like the Howells, she is just loaded with things to wear.
Right.
Beautiful evening gowns that where did they come from? I'm not
Mhm.
looking for plot holes bigger than the ones in the SS Minnow, but I'm just saying, where did what happened? What's the story there? Might
I mean,
just
some people, some girls don't leave their house without like at least a backup
Everything.
outfit,
Right.
everything, shoes, hair dye. You never know what you're gonna end up having
Right.
So you got to prepare for all occasions. I
Yeah.
just think I think rich people just have a lot of clothes. I think that's what it is. Huh.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a rich person, Billy.
but the guys that maybe they do, maybe they don't live on the boat, don't have a single change of clothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Right. Right. You would think that would make more sense if they would have had clothes
At
because
least
they're
a
on the boat.
spare shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so let's get back to the Maruvis, right?
Yes.
All right, so that's the cave, and quickly we get to see the professor's ingenuity when. Oh yeah, you got to be ready with the photo, but
No, that makes sense.
quickly, yeah, it was only a 3 hour tour, yeah. Um, but he quickly we get to see his ingenuity. He sets up this wonderful track, and it was so funny. I was watching it with my nephew, who's like 31 or something like that, and he mentions, "Man, these rocks are like perfect rock, and the ground to the cave is so beautiful and perfect." And I was like, "Wow, yeah, it was the neatest island ever,"
Yes.
So
It
yeah,
was perfect. Yeah.
right,
But like with the professor, when he first mentioned them and said they were savage, the tribe is savage. But then you pick up these artifacts, a mask and whatever. I'm like, if I know they're savage, I'm not going to take anything from wherever it was because
right,
I don't know if they're there what's going to happen. So I
right,
Yeah.
don't know how
Are they
ingenious he
poisoning
was.
us?
Yeah.
right. So and how does this work? How does this plan work? Somehow he has it rigged where, and I'll pull it back up on screen, where he made a tripwire out of some
Fine.
vines from a tree,
Right.
and somehow Natalie Schafer, thank you. Yeah, um, he made a tripwire, and somehow that tripwire of these vines
Mhm.
will then cause a avalanche of rocks to fall down. Like, I mean, we thought, you know what? He was MacGyver before MacGyver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
like, how the hell do you rig
He's
that up?
MacGyver's dad.
You know what? Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
Maybe it is. Metaverse.
Like I don't even know how you would make this trap, which you know is perfect. And you know it's going to get sprung at some point. You
Of
know, you just
course.
knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. And he doesn't go up and move any of the rocks around or anything. He just ties the
It's
vine at
just
the very
there.
bottom of it. And it's like, this will work.
Right. So, but we love the professor. The professor comes up with these inventions. You know, everything but something to get off the island. But he comes up with these, you know, all these crazy inventions. And I believe was he the one that was able to make the pie, the coconut cream pie?
Yeah, I think so. No,
Yeah,
no, wait a minute. That was Mary Ann's thing.
Marianne. Okay,
That was Mary Ann's thing.
which I have no idea how she was able to do that. But I mean, there's coconuts, but you know everything else. You know, but
Magic.
magic, right? So I'm like, if they're that good, they should be able to get off
You
this
should
damn
have been
island.
off a long time ago.
Yeah. So
Dark Shadows is a great
yes,
show.
great
In
show.
other news.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about we'll start off with you, Josh. How do you feel like this show held up after all these years?
Well, a lot like Get Smart, at least talking about the pilot. You know, as far as content goes, it holds up just fine. It's just made to be funny, right? Now, last week I said Get Smart could be remade using the script, same, no problem. And I think that sort of holds true with the Gilligan's Island pilot. A few more modern conveniences, you know, to be added, of course, but I think the only major change would come through the casting
Hmm.
because you know it's what 7 white people stuck on an island. Yeah, no,
Right.
we're not going to get that in today's age because it'd be kind of dull since we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reasons.
And there, it would be a, I don't know. I think it would cause them if they kept it all white people. That would be a race thing. People would bring that up as race.
Probably.
And it
Yeah.
is Gilligan's Island. Like it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. I can definitely agree with that. Oh, and also I found a glitch. Okay, you see his shirt right there?
Yeah, that's
Clearly ripped and messed up.
But
But
not later.
we know going forward, his shirt is perfectly fine. So how was
Yeah.
he able to repair that in the
That
maybe.
was one of the newest clothing designs of that era. It was a self healing shirt,
Oh.
one of the first of its kind. They were testing it out, and they never really got a true test or didn't have any results because, well, they disappeared for years.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so what about you, Renee? How do you feel like the show held up after seeing it again?
I think if you've seen it before, it holds up. But like now, if you've never seen it before, I wouldn't know how many people would actually watch it for long.
Hmm.
But I think because the black and white shows that are silly, funny, or goofy, I think those kind of hold up. But if you know the show, in my opinion.
Okay. What about you, Olaf? How do you think it held up?
Oh, I think it held up good. It's like it, but of course, but then again, I'm a fan of it, so I think it would hold up and could be done, and there would have to be some updates to it a little bit, but it I think it held up. I think it would hold up. Yeah.
Okay. And who did I not get? Tori, right?
Yeah. I think it did. Like I said, I think that it would turn into uh, social issues with it if the cast was all white.
Hmm.
And I think that uh, the comedy isn't as funny. It's not the same comedy as what we have now.
Yeah.
It was comedy for its day. So it was really funny whenever it was, on air, but then when you actually sit down and watch it today, I didn't think it was that funny. I thought it was kooky and a little haha, a little
Yeah.
retro, but never really like actually funny. I wouldn't say it was a new
But
car.
I still found it just as funny as when I first started watching it. But then again, I am old, so I just like it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Olaf,
It's
I'm
the,
sorry.
True.
I am I am old, so it's like going, yeah, I still like that kind of humor and still use that kind of humor. So
Yeah.
hey, it
You know
works
what?
for me.
You know what? Is anybody from the cast alive? Let me see. Uh, oh wow, Don Wills just died 2 years ago.
Hmm.
Uh, I went to check to see if dang they just okay. Oh wait a minute, Tina Louise is still alive. She's 88 years old.
Wow.
She might be the only person from the
Pretty sure
show
she's the
alive.
only one left.
Yeah, because Bob Denver, I know he died. Yeah, he died at 70. Yeah. Wow. So she's alive. She's holding it down. So she could be in the reboot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
there you go.
Yeah. So all right. So let's see. Any last thoughts about Gilligan's Island? We'll start off with you, Renee.
Last thoughts. I mean, I enjoyed the show. It's silly. Uh, it's predictable. I think every time something happened, they kind of told us right before it happened. So,
Right.
I think it's that kind of stuff is kind of predictable. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Why can't I
Oh,
hear?
oh, I lost sound.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry about that. Any?
okay.
Go ahead, Olaf.
I thought that
Last
was me.
last thoughts.
I know.
It's like, well, I enjoyed it as I was growing up, and over the years, I've seen it. Here and there, I'll catch an episode of it. I've enjoyed the show and still continue to enjoy it. I like the show. I'm a fan, so I could start watching it all over again. That right now.
Okay. We maybe that's what we should do with this show pilot season is maybe we should vote at the end of the season of what show we would actually watch,
Oh
the
yeah.
most rewatchable of the comedies and the dramas that we do.
Oh, there you go.
That's
So
a good one.
yeah. All right. So um Joshua, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. It's a show that never got the justice that it deserved as far as longevity. I could see it deserved at least 4 seasons, but they unceremoniously canceled it. But as far as my final thoughts on the pilot, it did everything that I'd want a pilot to do. We established relationships, set up the world, and created the rules for them to live by and then subsequently break as jokes or plot needed it. Gilligan's Island is one of the all time classic sitcoms, especially for an ensemble. And I think will go down as, we'll say, a top 50 TV show of all
Mm,
time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree. I agree. And
Me,
Tori, yeah, I
yeah.
think it's Tori. Yeah.
I mean, my final thoughts are it's good for its time. It was a surprise hit, really. Like, from how popular it is, how many reruns, you know what I mean? And I liked it. I think the cast is great. I think all the actors are great. And so it makes you want more. But just like Josh said, it gave you everything you want in a pilot.
Yeah. And well, I guess the one thing we got to mention is the great theme. Even though we've kind of mentioned it, that's one of the best themes of a TV show. It's really like the pilot. That's why you never really needed the pilot. To see the
Mm,
pilot was because the
yeah.
theme song is the
Told you
pilot.
what happened.
Yeah.
So um and it was written by George Weil. I hope I said his last name right. Wiley maybe, and Sherwood Schwartz. They wrote the theme song, and it's so catchy. And it's funny. I hadn't heard it in 50 years or whatever.
Hmm.
but I know it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you could wake me in the middle of my sleep. And how many theme songs of TV shows? Actually, last night me and Renee was talking, and
Mhm.
we were trying to remember jingles and stuff like that, and the TV show themes. And this was definitely like the easiest one to recall. It's written so perfectly, and it tells the tale, and it's you
But
know,
it's funny that they say the others, like there's so many more people, but it's just those two
right,
that they don't.
right. So, and one thing I want to do with the this show this year is so we're gonna vote at the end of the year, which is the most rewatchable of the. We're gonna separate it into comedies and dramas,
Hmm.
and we're gonna watch the finale of whatever the rewatchable one is. So we're gonna watch the.
Okay.
So that's the one we're gonna watch the last of, and then try to talk about the pilot versus the finale. But so right now it's Get Smart and Gilligan's Island so far. So of the comedies that we watch. So,
Okay.
all right. So let's start off with the ladies, of course. So Renee, how can we get you on social media? And should we be on the lookout for anything?
Yeah, I'm working on a few children's books, so those are in the works. And you can catch me on Instagram, RDC Art by Design, or my pencil writes. So I'd write, edit, all that good stuff. So thanks for having me again.
And thank you for writing children's books because then I can read it. You know.
You're welcome.
Me too.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. Is there any coloring involved in that?
There may be the next one. I may do a
Oh,
coloring book.
Oh,
all
perfect.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool. I love it. Those are my favorites. All right, Tori, how can we get you on social media, and what should we be on the lookout with you?
So I have my own show. It's called The Infectious Geek. It's every night, every Friday at 9 p.m. So this week we're doing adult cartoons, and I'm so excited because it's gonna be it's gonna be a good topic. Anyway, and then I also have another one that we do here, the movie potluck every Thursday, and that's a great show. I mean, it's really well put together, and Jen does a great job hosting it. And then I also do some podcasts instead of podcasts, and we talk about weed related products and the culture. So look forward to that.
Oh, podcast. I get it. I get it. I
I
get
don't.
it.
I don't. I don't understand podcast. I don't get it.
Oh yeah, I'll explain it afterwards.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right. Oh shoot. Did I lose you? Okay. Sorry about that. Olaf, how can we get you on social media, and should we be on the lookout for anything from you?
Yeah, it's like, well, you can follow me on Facebook if you want to at Olaf Barbosa. But and as far as looking out for anything, just watch behind you for me sneaking up on you. But that's about it. But like I said, you can follow me on Facebook. But as I say, don't follow too close because I do get nervous and I do have an itchy trigger finger.
Ba-boom. All right, and then last but definitely not least, the one and only Josh. How can we get you, and what should we be on the lookout for?
Just sit right back and you hear a tale of a podcast guy. That's all I've got so far.
Aw.
So you could always follow me on Twitter at skitcomic or go to simicorstudios.com to find all of the links to the shows, the merch store, the Patreons, and all of that wonderful goodness. And I know what you're thinking, but Josh, your shirt says Wadco Media. Why are you still rocking a Simicore Studios website? Because making websites is hard and it takes a minute. So patience, please. I mean, I do own the domain. I just have yet to make a thing on it. So check out simicorestudios.com. The Wadcast every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. You can check that out at facebook.com/the Wadcast. That's the Wadcast because Facebook.com. You know what? I'm not even going to plug that other thing. So make sure you join us there every Friday night. And of course, the movie potluck. Tori, Jen, sometimes, most of the time, my sister's there too. Kinte, you were on a really great episode last week.
Excellent episode.
Mhm.
I got a lot of feedback about it, and everyone thought it was a wonderful watch.
Great
So
show.
thank
Awesome.
you for that. I'm the guy that's behind the boards, twisting the knobs, making sure everybody looks good and sounds good. Um, that's pretty much all I've got. Kente, back
Yeah.
to you.
Watch out for Josh. He'll twist your knob. You can get me at Kente F on Twitter, Kente Ferguson on Instagram, and of course the website is theindyradio.com. That's the indyradio.com. If you are listening to us live, we are going to be doing our next show in just a few minutes, and we're going to be reviewing the TV show Lost. So you guys stay tuned. We're going to be up in just a few minutes. So you guys have a great rest of your week, and God bless.